Hi, this is Stuart. We recently formed a new sister company called Wright Mechanical. It's a locally owned HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical contracting company serving Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Washtenaw County, and western Wayne County. We work on everything from steam boilers to geothermal systems to cold climate heat pumps. We also do your standard hot water tanks, furnaces, boilers, and we've got Terry and Cliff here in the podcast room, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their backgrounds and why you should hire Wright Mechanical to work on your plumbing, heating, and cooling, and also why you should come work for Wright Mechanical if you're an experienced HVAC technician or experienced salesperson. So Terry, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in the mechanical industry and also how you came to work at Wright Mechanical?
Yeah, so for the past, I've been in the industry for about 12 years now. Started with a local company here in Washtenaw County. Started just answering the phones. We got really involved with the science behind heating and cooling, so that's what drew me to it. There's a lot of science behind it. So I decided to go to Washtenaw Community College, got my associates in heating and cooling, in air conditioning. There from Washtenaw, and then from there I went to Eastern Michigan and got a bachelor's in management. Been doing in a management role for the last 7 years of my career, working on everything from furnaces, boilers, geothermal, cold climate heat pumps. I was kind of the go-to technical person when something couldn't get fixed, so I got a lot of experience. I was able to get a lot of training. Also was doing training for the previous company, and so I attended a lot of manufacturer classes, everything from Mitsubishi, Lochinvar boilers, Viessmann boilers, Lennox furnaces, and many other manufacturers. And so I seeing that Stuart Bill was creating this company and was looking for help kind of trying to establish it and grow it, and so we met, and it was a good fit. I'm originally from Ypsilanti. A lot of the Bill real estate properties are in Ypsilanti, so it was the perfect fit for me to join on board. I came on in October of 2025 and trying to grow this company to be the #1 mechanical company for homeowners and property managers in Washtenaw County and the surrounding counties.
Great. And Cliff, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in the plumbing trades.
I've been plumbing for about 30 years. I've been a licensed master for 20.
What's your specialty? What's your expertise? What do you like working on?
Sewers.
Okay.
PVC, underground, above ground, apartment buildings, condominiums, doesn't matter what it is, how big it is, I love doing it.
Okay, and do you do new construction and replacement?
New construction, remods, doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
and
got plumbing, water, or drain, we will touch it.
Okay, got it. And how does one get a master plumber's license these days?
You have to work for a contractor as an apprentice for a minimum of 3 years.
Okay.
State regulation. And then you can, within 2 years of becoming a journeyman after taking your test, you can become a master.
Okay. So it would take a minimum of 5 years to get?
Yes, if you're good.
Okay, could take longer if you needed to learn more.
Yes, I was an apprentice for 4 years. I didn't feel comfortable taking a test at 3, so I waited 4 and took my journeyman's, passed it the first time. Was a journeyman for 4 years. Took my master's test the first time, passed it the first time, and then the contractor's test.
And why plumbing? Like, you could go into any trade, you could do anything. Why did you choose plumbing, or did it choose you?
Plumbing kind of chose me. It stuck with me. I'm very mechanically inclined, so I can see things before they're there, and I kind of can imagine what needs to be done, how it could be done, how it can be done.
Okay.
So
great. Thanks, Cliff. Terry, tell us a little about Wright Mechanical, how it operates, who works here, what do you work on?
Yeah, so we currently have, with me on the HVAC side, we have me leading the HVAC. We have 2 In the state of Michigan, we don't have journeymen. We don't call mechanical trades journeymen. There's not a state apprentice for the mechanical, but we have two very experienced senior technicians who handle everything from installation to service to maintenance. And then we've also brought on two apprentices, both recently graduated from Washtenaw Community College, and they are helpers who help those lead technicians in their day-to-day responsibilities. And then we also have a laborer, and then on the plumbing side, which Cliff leads up, he has a registered state apprentice that works with him daily as well. So our goal is, and our philosophy at Wright Mechanical is to train the next generation of technicians. And so we're hoping that plumbing apprentice will become a journeyman's apprentice, or a journeyman plumber. When he's able to take the test, he still has 3 more years to go. But under Cliff's guidance here, we believe he'll be fully ready to take that test and pass that in the next 3 years. We're also always looking for the best talent around. We really want somebody who is dedicated to their craft, who really cares about what they do and does it the right way. So there's a lot of people out there that just want to get the job done and get out of there, but we really, both on HVAC and plumbing, want to make sure we do it the right way, even if that's not the easy way. We want to make sure it's done right for the customer.
And when you go to school for HVAC, you go to school for plumbing, go to school for electrical, how does that translate into the field? Like, you can't just bring it out of the classroom right away, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like the training that I received at Washtenaw Community College was heavy on like theory, so like on the refrigeration cycle and electrical theory, but it doesn't really help you. They do hands-on experience, but it's not like working out in the field. So it's kind of a whole new world when we get these students from Washtenaw Community College on actually what they're doing in the field every day, turning a wrench, actually working with the tools. And you really need to become a complete technician. You really need both sides of it. You need to know the practical side of it, or the science behind what you're doing, but you also got to be able to turn a wrench and be quick to, be good with your hands as well. So it takes a balance of the intelligence, the brain of how it's supposed to work, and then also being able to work with your hands and making things happen that way.
So they don't bring you to like an 1850s farmhouse and cut a hole in the floor and throw you down there?
Right, exactly. No, you're working in a nice, clean laboratory where it's this, full of air conditioners. But that's not how it is, and it's a climate-controlled laboratory that you're working on. But that's not the reality of when you get in the field and you're working in that 3-foot-tall crawl space full of mud that you're trying to crawl over to braze pipes together. So it's a much sometimes awakening to the new people into the trade, that you may be on a roof when it's 100 degrees outside trying to get a rooftop up and running, the air conditioner running, or you may be in a basement that, like you said, that farmhouse basement, Michigan basement, full of water, trying to get the pipes to stop leaking when it's 0 degrees outside.
Yeah, so that sounds a bit harsh, but artificial intelligence isn't going to take these jobs, and this is good opportunities to earn $100,000 a year careers and over time.
Yeah, easily. It's probably the fastest way to earn that $100,000 salary. There's multiple technicians out there, multiple plumbers that are earning that, 3, 4, 5 years out of school. You won't come out of school earning that. It's not go to school for 2 years, earn that coming out. You start at an entry-level wage, but as you progress, and it really depends on the individual, you really need somebody who's dedicated to, that really wants to know why the things work like they do. And you're not going to learn that in one day. You may have to go home and do some research and say, I've never seen that component before. How does that component work? So those people that are really dedicated to, learning all they can are the ones that'll succeed quickly in pretty much being valuable to their companies that they work for, and could easily earn that $100,000 salary within 3 or 4 years of graduating from school.
Yeah, good. And I think it's an industry where you're going to see people go into more, but if you don't have both the skills for the dealing with the heat, dealing with the cold, also dealing with the customer, now you're in technical books reading 97 pages of technical stuff. It takes a pretty well-rounded person.
Yeah, definitely a lot of skills it takes there. And yeah, AI is not taking that position anytime soon. So although we've got a little push to go back into the trades in the last 5 years, but there's still a large gap. There was a large number of years where high school kids were not pushed to go towards the trades, and they were pushed to go to college. And so we're seeing more people retire than we're filling those gaps. And so it'll be a high in demand for both plumbing, any skill trades really, plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, for the foreseeable future that we'll need. And as we get into different technologies, the job market will just keep going larger and larger. We'll need more and more people to fill those roles.
And you say Wright Mechanical is locally owned, which is true. We're based in Ypsilanti and 100% locally owned. What does it actually mean for the operations of the business and the customer experience?
Yeah, so the one thing means that money stays here in the community. So we invest in our community. Our workers live in the community that we serve. And there's been a big push with private equity coming into the trades. They know that these industries are recession proof. They know that these trades are not going away, and so it's very sought after for private equity companies to buy these small local businesses up and then turn them for a profit. So they make them perform more profitable. Sometimes that's by raising the prices, sometimes that's by squeezing as much out of that, and then they will look to sell that to a larger private equity company that'll keep doing that. And so they have they serve their investors, so they have to do what's best for their investors, and that's not always what's best for the customer. And so being locally owned means that you are dealing with the owner. Your dollars that you're paying for your services are staying here in the community. They're not going to some national large private equity company that's just looking to make a profit for their investors.
And you work on steam boilers, geothermal systems, cold climate heat pumps. Why does a company focus on that instead of just furnaces and hot water tanks?
So I believe that if you have a good HVAC technician or HVAC company, they should be able to help you with all of your HVAC needs, not just when you need a furnace changed out or air conditioner changed out. If you have a special situation where you want to, let's say you want to be more energy efficient and do geothermal, we can help with all of those emergent technologies. But as well as you mentioned steam boilers in Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, there's still a lot of houses that were built at that turn of the century, 1910, 1920, that have those steam boilers in without a large investment to convert that over to something else. Those steam boilers will still continue to heat those houses potentially for the next 100 years. So we need technicians that know how to work on those systems. And so we not only focus on the emerging technologies of energy efficiency, but we know how those older systems were supposed to operate, and we can bring those back into optimal performance.
What's the difference between a sound technical diagnosis and just selling someone an expensive system?
Yeah, so when we talk about companies that are focused just on the bottom line, they're really trying to move what we call in the industry, they're just trying to move boxes. So the more furnaces they sell, the more air conditioners they sell, those are their high ticket items. And so they may not want to give you that option to repair that system, you know, they will push, even though a system may only be 10 years old. And we see typical HVAC systems go from 15 to 20-year lifespan. You know, some of these companies are pushing new systems on customers when they're only 9, 10 years old. And the reason for that is it's a larger ticket item and they're a higher profitable item for them to install you a new system. We believe the customer should have the option. So we want to give that option, even if it is to repair that system that, you know, we could repair that 9, 10, 11-year-old system that could last for another 10 years. So we're not quick to just push replacement. We will figure out what exactly is wrong, give you that option to repair, give you our honest opinion. Our honest opinion may be it may be best to replace that, but it's all situational, right? If somebody's planning to move in the next year or two, then they probably don't want to put a whole new system in their house. They may want to spend $1,000 or $2,000 to repair that system. So we believe giving the customer options is best than just pushing them towards a complete new system.
And you mentioned upfront pricing. What's the difference between Wright Mechanical's upfront pricing versus some of these private equity sales tactics?
Yeah, so a lot of their sales tactics are with coupons. So you'll see they'll give you this price. You know, let's say it's $25,000 for a new system, but they're running a special of, you know, $5,000 off. Now that's, we know somebody can't really give $5,000 off and still be a good deal. So they're really inflating that price on the front end and then giving you coupons off to make it good. And then they may, you know, see how you react to that. And then if you say, no, that's way too much, then, you know, the manager will call you and try to close the deal by offering you, you know, more money off or more discounts. We give our best price up front. So there's no going back to the supervisor, the manager, and asking for a better deal. Our best price, what we need to charge to stay in business, which is best for the customer. It's best for the customer that we charge what we need to be able to train our staff to have high caliber technicians, and that allows us to stay in business. So if we do install that furnace and there's an issue, you know, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years down the road, we'll be able to take care of that issue for that customer. If we don't charge what we need to, then we would be out of business. That customer wouldn't have anybody to take care of their issues in the future. So we give our best price up front. There's no, you know, no special half off or, you know, free air conditioner if you buy a furnace type deal that some of these other ones will do. It's just the price, and then that way you know you're getting the best value. Won't always be the cheapest price. There'll always be somebody that can do it cheaper, but cheaper is not better.
Yeah, good. And Cliff, when you're hiring a plumber to work with you side by side, what are you looking for in someone that you want to work with?
Somebody that's polite, clean cut, can deal with the tools, learns fast, courteous, you know, all the above.
Yeah, good. And showing up on time?
Showing up on time, communicating.
And someone eager to learn?
Eager to learn.
Yeah, so I've worked with some plumbers who don't want to learn. They want to just do it the way they do it, you know?
There's not a day in my life that I haven't learned something new every day.
Yeah.
Even now.
So good. Yeah, it's good, something to learn. And Terry, what are you looking for in an HVAC technician? I'm sure a lot of the same, but...
Yeah, a lot of them say it's like we're in people's houses, right? So we want somebody who's friendly. We don't, you know, that can be polite when they go into people's houses, but you got to be willing to learn. Like Cliff says, even with me, there's not a day that I don't learn something. If there is a day that somebody doesn't learn something, they're doing something wrong, because there's enough to learn, both in plumbing, in HVAC, even in electrical. It's such a broad field that you could learn something every day. So we need that willingness to learn, but we also need that willingness to try and not be scared of failure, right? So you gotta sometimes you gotta just even though you may not know exactly what you're doing, you gotta give it your all to try to do it, and that's how we learn. We learn from our failures more than we learn from our successes.
What type of person doesn't fit at Wright Mechanical? Obviously, the standard stuff: don't show up on time, calling sick too much,
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, it's hard, people are depending on us, right? So, if we have people that call in sick, there's somebody out there that, their faucet doesn't work, or their sink's backed up, or their furnace doesn't work. So we need dependable people. We need people that show up, and obviously, life happens and people call off, but if it's a pattern, then they're definitely not a good fit for Wright Mechanical. And we don't want somebody that knows it all. I don't want somebody that thinks they know it all, because the more you learn, the more you know that you don't know. And so you gotta have that mindset that, there's still more to learn. Even Cliff, like you said, he's been in doing plumbing for 30 years, and still every day he learns something new.
How's Wright Mechanical doing on passing their permit inspections? Is it 100%, 90%?
Yeah, so it's 96%. If anybody tells me they've passed every inspection they've ever had, I will tell you that they're lying. There's always something. There's always something that inspector may see, or you may forget. A lot of times it's just very minor things. It could be like some fire blocking, a hole that you forgot to fire block, or something like that.
Or the inspector might take it a little farther than you and the customer wanted to.
Yeah, that too. And every inspector in every municipality jurisdiction is a little bit different. So sometimes we go to work in a jurisdiction that we're not as familiar with, and that inspector is requiring something that maybe the jurisdictions we normally work in don't require it. And so sometimes I'd say the majority of them are very good to work with. We try to be there when they are inspecting. So if there's something small, something quick that we missed, a lot of times you can do it right on site and you won't fail it. But we're probably 98% at least past inspection, if not 99%.
Okay, great. And what's your approach to building Wright Mechanical? What are we trying to do here?
Yeah, so we're really trying to build a training culture. We're trying to have the best trained technicians in the area. We're trying to be the go-to technical company that figures out everything. So we're not just there's not just one thing we focus on. We take care of it all. We want to be that company that other companies say, I can't figure this out, call Wright Mechanical. They'll figure it out for you. And so jobs, there's always bumps in the road on these jobs, but it's how we overcome and adapt to them. And we're going to make mistakes as a company. We're going to make mistakes on our jobs, but it's how we react to those mistakes. Keep that communication open with the customer, and how we overcome that mistakes that those customers will remember and want to work with us in the future.
And how do you get technicians that are willing to work in a Class D apartment building one day and then a Class AAA house the next day? Is that even possible?
Yeah, so a lot of it's that willingness to serve, right? I think in this industry, you like to fix things, and I think the reason plumbers and HVAC is we like to fix things because we like to help people. So we got that willingness to serve, whether they're in that $3 million house or that Class D apartment building. They deserve the same service between both of them. So we like to help people, and that's I feel like that's why the good ones in the industry are here to help people, and it doesn't matter on what building they're in or what that issue may be, but we're there to help the customer no matter who it is.
Yeah, great. And what's the hardest part about competing against these private equity-backed companies, or maybe these companies that have been here for 50 years entrenched?
Yeah, so the private equity-backed companies, they have deep pockets, so they can afford to come into a market and do two things. They can pay a lot of money in marketing, and the ones that pay for the most for the leads, with Google, you can pay a certain amount, and it's kind of like a bidding. So if you pay more, you get your name at the top of that Google search. You get more clicks, you get more calls. So they got deep pockets to be able to pay for marketing. They also got deep pockets to implement technology. So they try to be as efficient as possible. That's how they increase the value of those companies. They become more efficient. So they can pay for the best technology and the best equipment and stuff like that. The other thing is, because they got deep pockets, they can really come into a market and slash the prices and operate at a loss for a year. And operate that business at a loss to be able to get that customer base. And then once they got that customer base, then they can start to raise their prices to where they want them and get that profit. So
how do you compete?
So we compete by being the local guy, by doing it right, by offering multiple options. Again, a lot of those companies just do furnace and air conditioners. They're not doing custom duct work. They're not doing anything kind of off the beaten path of the regular furnace and air conditioner. They're not messing with, because they want to get in, they want to get out, they want to get paid, and then they're done. So we compete by providing solutions, by being in the community that we serve, and by being the best.
Good. And Cliff, why do you want to work for Terry? You could work for any plumbing company.
That's a good question. I like Terry. Terry's been easy to work for. He knows a lot in the heating, cooling field.
Are we presenting unique challenges that are interesting?
Yes, he does present a lot of unique challenges.
Okay, good.
A lot.
Good. Sounds like tomorrow's going to be a unique one in Lansing.
Yeah, so it's always different.
Jackhammering in an occupied apartment building, is that what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, so we got a job where we have a compromised pipe underneath the ground. This is on a slab. So in order to replace that pipe, we have to jackhammer out the concrete to expose it.
In an occupied apartment.
In an occupied apartment. So,
Okay.
They won't be necessarily there while we're working, but their stuff is all around. So it includes, tarping off all of their stuff so it doesn't get dusty, and creating like a kind of a containment zone that we work around. And the funnest thing is, we don't even know how long the pipe is that needs to be replaced. So it's kind of more of a fact-finding procedure to figure out how much concrete we gotta.
Yeah, 1305 South Congress, 20 unit that we bought, we budgeted $30,000 to do half, and then of course we had to do the entire thing all the way to the street. Every foot we exposed got worse and worse and worse, whereas we thought it was going to be the opposite. So once you start jackhammering and digging, you never know what you're going to find. And so how do you like keep a customer informed, like throughout the day or throughout the week, about what's going on? Because I mean, it's easy to charge $3,000 or $4,000 to replace a furnace up front, in and out, but like, how do you, these jobs that cascade into?
Yeah, so I think it's all about expectation, right? So we're telling them up front, like, hey, we're hoping that it's only 10 feet of pipe, but this could turn into, and Cliff's great at this because he's been around for so long, so he's got a lot of experience with jobs that have gone bad and jobs that have gone good, and so it's saying, hey, this is the price to do this, and then once we get to where we can tell you more, it will either be this'll take care of it and we'll fix this 10 foot, or we will let you know that there's more we gotta go, and kind of
But a lot of times you can do it within the original price.
Yeah.
Like at 127 North Rumble, we had to dig into that.
Yeah.
Got that done for the original price.
Yeah, so if it's what we think it is, so we use our best judgment, we use our years of experience, we use all of that to try to inform the customer of what they can expect. But again, you always, it's not every day that you see something you've never seen, especially, Cliff's been doing plumbing a lot longer than I've been doing HVAC. But there are still days that we come across things that we say, oh, we've never seen that before, and that happens. Or we think the pipe went this way and it actually goes the other way, so.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. And what kind of equipment do we have that we own that we can bring to a customer's property? I know we don't have a jetter yet, but we've got some really nice cameras and stuff.
Yes, yep, so we got cameras that can take a video of the pipe. There are always some limitations, like if the pipe is completely collapsed, well then the camera can't get down the pipe, and you really just know where it's collapsed at, and you can kind of start from there, but you don't know how far. We obviously have jackhammers and excavation equipment that can break open the floor, saws as well to cut the concrete. We have, if we need to do any outside, we have an excavator as well, a mini excavator that can do any outside sewer line replacements, water line replacements. In that we can take care of all that, anything from a single family home up to a commercial space. We can do sewer replacements and water main replacements.
And we have like partners and subcontractors if we need a crane or we need a jetter and.
Yep. So we've built relationships being over the years. This is again something that it can be hard for those private equity companies that don't have knowledge of the local environment. Cliff has 30 years of relationships he's built. I have 15 years of relationships I've built with crane operators, power washers. We had to bring in a guy that had a hot water power washer to thaw a pipe over this winter. And so being able to know when it's out of our wheelhouse and when to bring in help is one of those benefits that we can do and bring in the right people to get it done. So,
I saw we were duct cleaning at 2930 Marshall.
Yep.
Did you see how much stuff was in those ducts?
No, but I know that house was probably built in the 60s or 70s. And,
yeah, 50 years of stuff.
50 years of stuff, yeah.
In the ducts.
So yeah, important to bring in those people that can make the whole system cleaner and work more efficiently.
Yeah, great. And if a HVAC tech is burned out from high pressure sales taxes, commission pressure, what would they find different here? They're just going to do the job, right?
Yeah, so we're not holding people to like go out there and sell. We don't have a quota, that we're holding people to. Obviously, every company has to make sales to stay in business. So it's not that we're not making sales. We're presenting options to the customer. We're not a high pressure sign on the line today, half off today, the deal ends tomorrow. Here are your options. These are the options. These are the best price we can provide you. Here's an option to repair. Here would be your option to replace. Obviously, there's some couple options to replace based on equipment. But we're not that high pressure telling our technicians, you must sell this much or you're getting written up. We want them to take care of the customer as best as they can. In doing so, we know that we will be able to grow this company and the customers and our employees will take care of the company.
All right, great. So that's Wright Mechanical. It's a 2-year-old company. Terry is the business manager. Cliff is our plumbing manager. We want to do things the right way. That's why we're called Wright Mechanical. We want to service the customer and do right by our suppliers and our business partners. If you want to visit wrightmech.com, that's WRIGHTMECH.com. You can put a service ticket in there. That goes to C and Terry's email to get a new customer. Also, you can call 734-684-0030 to reach someone right away. We're going to set this business up to be a 24/7, 365 company. We're not quite there yet, but as we grow, we'll start implementing that, and we'll be expanding our geographical reach. But right now, we're Washtenaw County, and then the western cities of Wayne County, like Belleville and Canton. And then just because we've got a lot of relationships in Jackson and Lansing, we've been doing jobs in Jackson and Lansing as well. So plumbing, HVAC, Wright Mechanical, go to wrightmech.com. Terry, Cliff, thanks for coming in and talking to us today. And we'll talk to you later. Probably do another one of these in a month and talk about how the company's grown.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.